We are down here in Carrollton, Texas. Sir, what's your name?
My name is Kenneth Mack.
All right, Kenneth. Where you from, Kenneth?
I'm from Dallas, Texas.
All right, Kenneth. Let me ask you a question. How did you connect with Mr. Cedric Brown, and what did he promise you?
Mr. Cedric Brown promised me, we connected through getting my credit established and all, but when I got down there and they checked my credit was so good that he told me that I didn't need any work on my credit and that I was bankable. And that before I knew it, the same day I was down at a local bank getting a line of credit on my signature, and it was quite substantial. Well, we were excited about that. He had told me that we could get in some investments with him. He had personal investments. He was running, 2 or 3 houses per month that he was selling, flipping, and he wanted some investors. So once I got the credit and the cash, on hand, he wanted me to invest. And of course the promise was good, it was reasonable, the return was reasonable. He promised me $10,000 on a $15,000 investment, which that's good investing, that's good, makes sense. So it seemed to be okay. I didn't do any due diligence of checking him out, which I should have done by him getting me the credit that I needed and that I wanted, I say, and I kind of was blinded, blindsided by the success of getting the credit. Well, he gave me a contract, and I signed the contract, and I have witnesses of signing the contract, personal that were with me, and the contract said within 90 days that I would get my return. Well, that did not materialize, and I called him constantly. And it's been now 9 to 10 months over the due date, and that he has not responded. Now he won't respond to me. So he is not reputable. He's not doing what he said he would do. And now I'm holding the bag of debt, and he's not responding. So I would say that he's not reputable. Okay. You need to be careful with dealing with him and money transactions, and that's as far as I will go. I will not go any further as far as his character, other than he is not reputable with money. He's not trustworthy with an investor or with any kind of real estate investment. Okay.
All right. And so we're talking about Mr. Cedric Brooks Brown from New Home Solutions and Investments down here in Dallas, Texas on Preston Road, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kenneth. We are down here in Dallas, Texas, headquarters of New Home Solutions and Investments down here on Preston Road in Dallas, Texas. Sir, what's your name?
Mark Reeves.
Okay, Mark, where you from?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. Let me ask you a question. How did you connect with Mr. Cedric Brooks Brown, and what did he promise you?
I connected with Cedric Brooks Brown through our New Home Solution, and he promised me that when I loaned him the amount of $10,000, he promised me a $10,000 return on my investment. And I was supposed to receive this. We made the transaction January 7th of 2016, and I was supposed to receive my return 90 days later when we invested in the property. I was supposed to receive my return, which was $20,000, and this has not happened. And it's been now going on almost 7 or 8 months. And I called him and reached out to him. He haven't responded. And I talked to him several times, and he kept saying he was trying to close the transaction where he could respond and pay the amount that he promised me, but it haven't come to fruition. And finally he told me that, stop calling him and leave him alone, which suggested to me that he was not going to pay me or made no attempt. And I would say to the general public that he's not reputable. He's not a man that owns up to his word, and I wouldn't advise anybody to do any type of business with him.
We're down here in Dallas, Texas, headquarters of New Home Solutions and Investment over here at Carrollton Towers off of Preston Road. Sir, what's your name and where you from?
My name is Larry Brown, and I'm from Dallas.
Okay, Mr. Brown. How did you connect with Mr. Cedric Brown, and what did he promise you?
Well, he called me June of 2014, should I say, and then he made a joint venture agreement with me in September, and we're supposed to be investing into some houses. I put up $40,000, and he was supposed to put up $34,000, and it's supposed to be a 90-day turnaround. but it never happened. And he also added other individuals to the contract that he made with me. And he seems to have a pattern of cleaning up your credit, supposedly, and then taking you to the bank to get a loan. Then he takes the loan. In my case, he took $15,000 and told me, go ahead and take the 10 and I'm going to pay the whole thing back. However, after 2 or 3 payments, he drops it. And he also set up a credit line with credit cards, which he used completely, entirely, almost right at $50,000. And he was supposed to be making the payments on that. That was supposed to be for the repair of the homes purchased, and then we would split even out of the profit and pay the credit cards off. But instead, that never happened. And so my success with Mr. Cedric Brooks Brown has been a complete failure. Once he does away with you, you can't contact him anymore. And he will not contact you. So I just tell everybody to beware of him when you encounter him. And I understand he's been doing this for about 25 years in the black community. And you need to be careful anytime you encounter Mr. Cedric Brooks or Cedric Brown. He uses various names. That's all what I have to say about it.
We are down here in Dallas, Texas at Carrollton Towers, headquarters of New Home Solutions and Investments. Sir, what's your name and where you're from?
My name is Eddie Tucker. I'm out of DeSoto, Texas.
All right, Mr. Tucker. How did you connect with Mr. Cedric Brown and what did he promise you?
Well, you know, I connected with Cedric Brown. I met him at the, I think that's KHVN radio station. That's a AM station called Heaven 97. I happened to have met him at that particular station. That's where I met him.
And what did he promise you? What was the connection there?
Well, the connection was that he had a need. He said he had a need in his heart. He said he was led by God and he was led by the Spirit to help people who were into foreclosure. So when he started talking people in foreclosure, I knew several people, seniors who had been in foreclosure. I knew no way to help them. So when he started talking about foreclosure, he also told them to that the foreclosure could get them out of foreclosure with $10,000 into another house. When I heard that, I said, Mr. Cedric, can you do that? He said, yeah, I can do that. He said, but what I need is really people to get involved with what I'm doing. I said, what you doing? He said, I'm clearing up your credit, walking you to the bank, getting you anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000. Tell him to shut it down. Yeah, $25,000, $30,000. And I said, you can do what? So after he told me that at the radio station, then we went on the radio station with Robert Ashley. And we began to talk about the program that Mr. Cedric had that could help people in foreclosure, help people who were losing their home, which was the greatest thing and the greatest asset that I've ever heard. So when he began to talk to me about it, I said, well, can you help anybody? He said, well, they got to have good credit. Once I clear up their credit, I can take them to the bank, Compass Bank. I said, what Compass Bank? I'm with Compass Bank right over here in Hampton. He said, no, you got to go to Compass Bank up on Preston Road. So then he promised me if I went through the process, gave him $25,000, $35,000, $45,000, what he would do is give me my money back. He would use my $45,000 to help somebody get out of foreclosure. So what that meant, when I ran up on a person that was in foreclosure,
I got him talking.
when I ran up on a person that was in foreclosure, what he would do is I would give him the information about their foreclosure. He could take my money, stop their foreclosure, fix their house, help them get into another house, sell their house, get my money back, and I'll make some type of profit. And I said, wow, man, that's exciting. I said, well, look, I've never had real estate. I work with children in crisis, and I don't do that. I said, I'm not interested in trying to make a lot of money. I said, I'm interested in trying to help the community. And so I said, I'll do that. And he said, you know, I said, another thing, I said, I got friends that are willing to help seniors who are losing their homes. And then we came up with, there was a senior at 3435 Monte Carlo Drive in Dallas. I knew about them early on, and they were losing their home. And then one thing about it, then we got involved. I went and got the money from the bank. My credit was already good. I went and got money from the bank. He took everything and put it in a packet. We went to the bank, got the money, and then he promised me in 90 days I was going to get a $25,000 return from my first $25,000 investment. That's been a year ago, a year and 30 days this month. This month, on the 30th, it will be a year and 30 days that he promised it back in September the 30th, and I never got it. And to date, I never got it. And I, prior to the 25,000, I invested another 20,000 into another situation of another home, and nothing. So for a whole year now, I haven't got any return on any money. He promised to give me something, but I never got it. He promised even to sign some property over to me. I never got it. So what I did from that, because New Home Solution was not doing the proper thing for me, then I began to reach out and try to find other people that they were doing damage to. And Lord God, I came up with $680,000 worth of people that he had offended. Now, with that kind of offense, something is seriously wrong with the criminal system of Dallas, because I've called the police, I went to the DA and put in some paperwork with them. So I'm looking to hear from the DA. They promised, they know their backlog, so they're trying to work it out so we can indict him and hopefully get some of the money back to some of the people. Over $680,000. Everybody invested in probably the same property. If it wasn't a daycare center in trouble, it was a senior in trouble. So that's how I got involved, and that's how the promise he gave me that he was going to be a man of credibility, a man of integrity. And he talked about the 7 steps, number 7 being the final state of the Lord. I understand he's a member out at the Potter's house. That's what he told me. And I don't know if that didn't glue me in. The one thing that glued me in is when we went to Compass Bank. My whole transaction was taking place right in Compass Bank. When that happened, I said, oh man, this cat is straight across the board. And I called some of my friends and tell them about it.
You keep going, Tuck.
And that's what I did. I called some of my friends, told them about it. One of my friends came from California. Another one came from Chicago. A friend of mine came out of New York. I think he worked at the airport. He got involved. A lot of people got involved because it was helping the community. And lo and behold, he hasn't taken care of anybody, any money, since last year, to my knowledge, of the $680,000. And I've also ran into people who've involved themselves up to $150,000 worth out of the state of Mississippi. And then I went to one of his conferences. He had a conference, and the conference for preachers. So I went out soliciting preachers to go, prior to not knowing he's going to pay. Solicit preachers to go down to the Thanksgiving Tower, where he was talking to them about helping any and everybody in the congregation who needed funds or who were caught up into foreclosure. So I don't know how many people he has affected. The one thing I do know, Alabama, I turned him on to people in Alabama, people in Georgia, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas. All of these areas have been affected by what he's doing. So do people come forward? No. Out of all the people that I've contacted, over 50 or 60 people, I've had about 5 people that have been back in touch that did affidavits with the DA's office to actually get something done. Everybody is frightened to do anything. They say if he's doing this and he's doing it as blatantly as he's doing it, then he's connected with the gangsters. so nobody want to get involved with that. So that's what they're saying. He's gangster, so they don't want the repercussion of getting hurt and that sort of thing.
So what would your suggestion be? Why should nobody do business with Mr. Cedric Brooks Brown?
Well, at this point in time, my suggestion is that when you're looking for integrity in business, and you're looking for people with credibility, and our community is already bleeding from all types of insults that are happening in terms of the legal system, you should not get involved, because the money that you're giving him is not going to be beneficial for you and your family. Now, let me clarify something. If you have money that you want to waste or help somebody do something or keep him stable and functioning, then you can loan it to him. And if you do it through a bank, hopefully that'll work. I don't know. I know if you do it through the system that he had, where he did a promissory note from New Home Solutions, he did a venture contract with me. Neither one of those things have made him keep his word. And word to me was, I'm not going to pay you anything. And of course, the language was not as nice as I'm saying it now. As I received that, I'm okay with that, because fortunate for me, at 71, I'm pretty well set, not with a lot of money, but I have enough coming in that I can sustain myself. But the reality is, it hurts so bad because I'm involved. I have 4 children that I've adopted, and the money that I had invested with him was for that reason. It was trying to make them independent little businessmen. They met him, they know him, and that was one of the things. Don't get involved with a man or a person that does not have integrity, that they can pass or show something on to your children. That is so important. One of the things that I involve my children with, and they're with me when I'm rolling around, I involve them with that type of business because I wanted them to see that there was other things to do other than drugs. He and I had talked about drugs. He said, I drive a Mercedes, I drive a Porsche, I don't do drugs. And I'm trying to, I don't know why, I'm trying to tell young men, get involved with me. And I was so excited about what he was talking and how he was talking. But when I found out, no, you're not dealing drugs, you're dealing sorrow on the community. And a drug addict do get the drugs, so he get an opportunity to get high. But when you give up your money, you don't get any funds back, you don't get anything for it. So Cedric is not the type of man that should be loose in our community. And one of the greatest things that I'm after is hopefully that they'll see that he is not the type of person that needs to be on the street. He is worse than a drug dealer. A drug dealer, you at least get drugs. With him, you get nothing. You get 2 pieces of paper, a venture capital, a promissory note. You get a turn into Compass Bank. He take you into Compass Bank, which gives you a feeling of comfort because he knows the manager knows him. They're exchanging ideas, they're talking. The manager came out into the community. Before I got invested with him, I met the manager at the bank, not a manager, one of the loan officers. I also met him inside of the black community in an area that's not too good for you to be. And he was out there with his wife and baby. And so after I saw all of that, I knew he was a nice fella. I just knew he was. But then when I found that out, and later on when I found out he was taking people's money about 7 or 8 months ago, then I got the words from people who I had involved, and I got a sound again to come in. Somebody wanted to, of course, hurt him. And so that's why. I don't see getting involved with somebody you have to physically think about hurting them to get your money back or to finish your transaction of business.
We're down here in Dallas, Texas, headquarters of New Home Solutions and Investments down here on Preston Road in Dallas in the Carrollton Towers. And my name is Eric Wilson, and I'm from the Mid-Cities area.
Okay, Mr. Eric. What about New Home Solutions? Well, how did you get involved with New Home Solutions?
Well, I got involved with New Home Solutions. I came down to Business Startup 101, which was being aired on KHVN Heaven 97 here in Dallas, which is a gospel radio station. And as I came on there, because I do a lot of mentoring in the community, in the schools and stuff, we've done food and home for the homeless and toy giveaways and all kind of stuff like that. But our big thing is mentoring. And when they talk about bringing businesses together, which is so key when we talk about partnership, we're really going to be able to do some work. So when I met Mr. Cedric Brown and he told me what he was doing, I told him what I was doing in the community, and he told me what he was doing with houses and investments. I was really excited about that. So we met up. He has a thing where he said, if you can clear your credit, make sure your credit is okay, then we can invest in some properties. I said, that's great. I went down to fill out the paperwork to have my credit report pulled, and the lady came from behind the desk after they ran my credit, shook my hand and said, thank you for being such a good paybacker. You know, she just blew me away. One of the secretaries, she was so impressed with my credit history that she came from behind the desk and shook my hand. So I didn't have to go get my credit cleaned up. I was already fit to go down to Compass Bank. So he had shared with me about Compass Bank down here on Preston Road, right down the street. Well, we sat down there and we were able to get a $25,000 loan, $18,000 line of credit, and also American Express card, you know, with my own name, and then I can use those funds to invest in property so we can get a return. Therefore, I can continue to invest in other ventures as we were talking about bringing resources to the community. And so, with that being said, on it was in September, I believe the 20-something of 2015, and then October the 5th, I signed 2 promissory notes for 2 different properties, one in Dallas and I believe the other one in DeSoto, with the promise of a 90-day return. So the first one was investing $25,000. I was supposed to get $40,000 on December 31st, 2015. The second investment was $12,000, while I was supposed to get back $17,000 on January the 5th, 2016. It was set up where Mr. Cedric would take care of the payments on these loans until he cashed in on the properties. It was supposed to be 90 days or even less. So now we are here, October 2016. Mr. Cedric paid the payments for a while, but then he dropped off. We continued to communicate, and he kept saying that he was going to make the payments, and eventually he made no more payments to Compass Bank, and so left us holding the bag of the loan of almost $40,000. So, very, 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 very disappointed. On top of Mr. Cedric Brown being an African-American man, and we in the community are always talking about what other races are doing to us. It was very disheartening. Also claimed himself to be a man of God, to be able to take the monies and absolutely had no intention on coming through with the promise that he made. So for anybody out there who is hearing from Mr. Cedric Brooks Brown or New Home Solutions Investments down here in Dallas, I would absolutely tell you to not get involved. You will be very, very disappointed. And now I'm hearing that this has been going on for years. We are just one of the few that are speaking up. And when I last count, I heard it was over 18 people. As Mr. Eddie L. Tucker said, it's almost $700,000, and the guy is still in business, is still operating. So my encouragement is for nobody to do business with him. We have to put a stop to. We understand people make mistakes, but this is way past mistakes, and we have to put a stop to this, or else we will not be able to rebuild our communities.